Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who this world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is the true name of the Heavenly Father, his only begotten Son, who this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And Rakakwadash is the true name of the Holy Spirit, Rakakwadash meaning Spirit, Holy in Paleo-Hebrew, and Bahashem is a phrase in the Paleo-Hebrew, meaning in the name in the Paleo-Hebrew. Alright? And I want to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders, especially of Great Millstone, who rule and teach the 100% truth well, and shalom unto the hopeful elect. All right, and Yahweh and Yahweh Shai are the one and only true names that we ought to be calling on in these perilous times in order to be eligible to receive salvation. All right, so, today I want to pretty much go into pretty much a farmer's breaking point. All right. And I got this video here. All right, fair use. All right, okay, I'll speed it up, and then I'll get scriptures, and that's pretty much gonna be it. All right, pretty much just an update. Okay, all right, and famines are coming. All right, this place is gonna get a famine, man, and it's gonna be very bad. Okay, because these Americans, they're very big, to say the least. Okay, I mean, yeah, no duh. All right, it's a very obese nation, overweight nation. Okay, and even among those, all right, you have a bunch of people who really, they don't have any discipline when it comes to what they eat. Okay, all right, they can't just say no to and I'm not saying you see you're a bad person if you struggle with that, but I'm just saying that most of these Americans, they lack a lot of discipline when it comes to food specifically. So when stuff like this famine hits, well, people are going to go crazy, cannibalism is going to happen, and as well, eventually they're going to be salivating at the thought of that microchip, that mark of the beast, which the mark of the beast is a microchip. They're going to be salivating at that pretty much because, well, hey, with this now you can buy and sell and you get a universal basic income, but all right, I'll just play this and that will be, get scriptures and that's it. All right.
At the end of this month, parts of the 2018 Farm Bill are set to expire. It has been extended twice, but that would mean that many farmers won't see any federal dollars until President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill kicks in late next year. And this is happening at the same time that many U.S. farmers are warning that they're reaching a breaking point as unpredictable weather, rising costs, and fallout from Trump's tariffs are impacting their bottom line.
This is not your ordinary farm crisis. We call it Farmageddon.
And if they don't do something, there's going to be some farmers that ain't going to be around next year.
We're joined now by the founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association, John Boyd Jr. Sir, thanks so much for being with us. What are you hearing from farmers about what they're going through right now?
Well, this is the worst time since the 80s, and I was farming in the 80s, where farmers were going out of business. Farm foreclosures are on the rise. Farm suicides are on the rise. Farm bankruptcies are on the rise. And this is a bad time in this country for American agriculture and American farmers. The president's tariffs are putting farmers out of business. These are very low commodity prices. I watched the president's interview yesterday. He touted how great the markets were doing, but the markets aren't doing well for America's farmers. Corn, wheat, and soybeans are all down. It's harvest time, and we haven't gotten any orders from China to purchase soybeans from farmers. And we need answers from the administration on what they can do to help America's farmers. Now, you just talked about the Big Beautiful Bill. They really haven't provided any assistance for America's farmers. And I heard the Agriculture Secretary say this week that farmers could get money from tariffs. I haven't seen any money from the president's tariffs, just poor markets. And every time the president says tariffs, the markets go down and countries begin to run away from American agriculture.
Yeah, I wonder because during...
All right, so, pretty much I'll get like 2 scriptures. All right, then I'll continue on. All right. First is Isaiah chapter 19 verse 4. Okay, and this is talking about spiritual Sodom and Egypt, which is America, Babylon the Great. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. Okay, so again, this is talking about Americans, the U.S. Okay, and we believe this fierce king and that cruel lord to be Donald Trump. Okay, all right, you have him with these straightforward, all right, just a cruel, authoritarian, all right, just like an iron fist per se, all right, he's just doing it, all right, he takes some, if he doesn't like the criticism, usually he just ignores it, all right, and of course, at first you had a lot of that stalling, all right, that taco, okay, that freaking chickening out. All right, but you know, now he seems much more set on the things he's doing. Okay, you know, he got a little situated, and now he's, you know, pretty much riling it up. All right. So, you know, pretty much he's that cruel lord. All right, you have these tariffs, these policies. Okay, and you know, they'll go into it a little later. And you know, how about their pretty much deporting the hard workers, the Hispanics, which are also Israelites. Okay, all right, you know, so yeah, Trump's that cruel lord, man. All right, verse 2. Okay, and the Egyptians were like, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Okay, you know, yeah, that's civil war. All right, but you could also apply it to, you know, fighting because of famine. Okay, because that could result in some sort of war per se. All right, you know, between a household. All right, this and that. All right, so, you know, all right, but I'll continue this. All right, and then we'll get some more scriptures.
Wonder because during the first Trump administration, specifically on soybeans, in response to
Oh yeah, Salakia. I said I would get to. I forgot. Wanted to get Sirach chapter 12 verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Okay, so pretty much I don't know if this Jake voted for Trump. All right, but again, the point still stands, man. You still got Jake who voted for him anyways. All right, and I mean, of course you had, you know, out of the thousands of farmers, of course you likely had some Jake farmers who voted for Trump. All right, you know, they trusted in their enemy, and look, Trump gave them a backhand, a sucker punch. All right, well, not really a sucker punch because he spoke about the tariffs beforehand, but no, they still voted for him. All right, but you know, I'll just continue this.
to dwindling international demand, the administration put out. Yeah, I wonder because during the first Trump administration, specifically on soybeans, in response to dwindling international demand, the administration put out subsidies to try to help soybean farmers. Have you heard anything from the administration about something like that coming soon?
Absolutely nothing. The first Trump administration, paid out $23 billion in the program called the Market Facilitation Program. But what was ironic about that, that $28 billion didn't really provide any relief for America's black farmers. You know, we're pretty much left out of that equation. And what the president is doing different this time that he didn't do last time is...
And yeah, Donald Trump, he hates you, Jakes, man. All right, he hates you, Jakes. Never trust an enemy. He don't love you. He hates you. If he could have his way, if he could have a freaking wishing rod, man, all right, he would wish you Jakes away. He would wish all Israelites away into a place far away. All right, or, you know, just get rid of us, man. That's what he would do. He doesn't like you, Jakes. All right.
He doesn't care. He's hurting all farmers now. He's treating us all the same. So that's something he said he was going to do. Now, all farmers are doing bad now under this administration. The first time the president imposed tariffs on China, I was selling soybeans at $16.80 a bushel. By the time President Trump left office, it was less than $8 a bushel. And the markets never really came back. So, but the point I'm trying to make here is the tariffs didn't work the first time the president imposed them. And I don't think that they're going to help us now. And I don't believe that they're going to provide any resources for America's farmers.
So what happens now in this sort of gap as the Farm Bill expires and you have to wait until some of the allocations from the Big Beautiful Bill to kick in next year?
Well, we need members of Congress to start fighting, especially Democrats. Democrats are too quiet here. And they're letting the president just run him over like a Mack truck. And the message here today is they should get up and fight back. You know, and, we haven't had a farm bill in quite some time, and the country is running off a continuous resolution here. And what this administration has done is taking our programs that I fought for about 40 years to get programs called Social Disadvantaged Farmers Resources and Grants to help America's black and other farmers of color. This administration wants to do away with all of those things and help large-scale, white farmers in this country. And what he did was he says, we're going to do away with anything that has to do with black, but we're going to bring white farmers in from South Africa solely based on race. And then we're going to ship out the people who are doing the work here. You know, the Hispanic community that's doing really hard work that many Americans don't want to do. They want to put them out the country, and it was the wrong thing to do. People from the inner city are not going to come in and pick tomatoes and onions and harvest cabbage and tobacco people. It's the wrong thing, and they're taking American agriculture in the wrong direction, this administration is.
John Boyd Jr., thank you so much.
All right, you heard him. Okay, and Esau, and even really, the other tribes, they can't work as well as Issachar. All right, which Issachar more specifically is the so-called Mexicans. Although we are all scattered around the world, and we do look like all the different nations. We got Israelites that look like so-called white men. All right, but but really Issachar is the hardest working one. Okay, and by Trump getting rid of them, all right, and even if you got equally hard workers, all right, you still gotta pay them more, all right, which would increase the prices because Esau, the bane of Esau's existence is pretty much losing money, all right, okay, damn it. All right, so like so pretty much not necessarily the bane of his existence, but one thing Esau hates is losing money, man. You see the wickedness he will go to just to save a few dollars. All right, 2 Ezra chapter 6 verse 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear and sown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Actually, how about verse 20? And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I shew these tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. And the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The woman with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All right. Now, sown places, like your farms. All right. The storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All right. Instead of being full, they're going to be found empty. All right. The workers. All right. They're not working as good. Okay. It does take skill. By the way, it's not just I pick the fruit and then it's mine. No, I pick the fruit and I put it in a basket. No, it takes skill. All right. And not just that, it takes stamina and endurance, which Esau is not built like that. Judah's strong, no duh. Okay, yeah. All right, Judah is strong, no doubt. The Israelites are strong, no doubt. But out of the Israelites, pretty much the hardest workers, all right, in these jobs is Issachar, man. Issachar literally means he is hired. All right. Okay. Verse 23, and the trumpet shall give a sound when every man heareth. They shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Okay? Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. Okay? The end of Esau's rulership, all right, is coming, and that's good. Okay? You got this Trump being a doofus, really, just to say it, all right, and deporting all these Jakes, all right, when they're the hardest workers, and he wants to replace them with American workers, Edomites, and Edomites. When Edomites ain't built like that, they can't do that. Listen, man, even and the average Israelite is not a joke, all right. Compared to the other heathens, man. Jake is this. Israelites are the salt of the earth, man. All right, but Issachar, when it comes to those jobs, man, to that working, man, all right, he's even beyond Judah, all right. So listen, Trump is not going to be able to replace the output of these farm workers, man. All right, and even if he somehow did, I don't know, let's just say he does, well, he still got to pay them more because they're American citizens, So it's a lose-lose, man. All right, and Trump played you. All right, but anyways, 2 Ezra chapter 15 verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And one of the reasons could be, of course, from a lack of bread. For there shall be sedition among men, in invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And the very cause of that sedition could be, from Trump's policies. From deporting all the workers. Now there's less food. Now the food's rotting instead of this and that. All right. So now that's another reason that these people could potentially be angry and cause sedition. Okay. Verse 17: a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Checkpoints and stuff. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay. And the term racism is expensive. All right. You got these Edomites who hate Jake so much they want to get rid of him. They want to give the job to Americans. Well, sorry to break it to you, but these average Americans, they can't do what Issachar does. All right. Not to mention really, America in general is just. The diet is bad, the health is bad, okay, the food is dog poo, all right, horrible, all right, compared to other countries, man. America is horrible especially when it comes to the food, man, and the food fuels your body, man. Imagine if you're fueling your body with freaking poison, man. Okay, so it's just, You know, this place just can't handle the stuff, all right, that handle the mantle of Issachar, man. All right, verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. Modern day sword is the gun, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, which is food. All right, bread's pretty much just all around term for food, and for great tribulation. All right, you know, also part of Jacob's trouble is famines. Okay, you're gonna have a lot of these hungry big ass people. All right, assuming they don't get caught because of their size. Okay, they're gonna be looking for food. They're gonna be hungry again because these people, they cannot handle decent fasts, man. All right, Matthew chapter 24 verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. And this is Yahweh Shai speaking. And this is his response to the disciples asking him what shall be the sign of the coming and of the end of the world. Okay, so this is one of the signs. Okay, famines. All right, and famines are very bad. The Bible doesn't make that clear. Okay, let's see how bad it is. All right, Lamentations chapter 4 verse 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger, for these pine away stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. Okay, because a sword, yeah, it's painful as hell, but ultimately it's quicker. Okay, all right, especially depending on the sword. By the sword I mean weapon. All right, but the hunger, man, you slowly pine away, and not just physically, man, but also mentally. All right, your mental state just declines. You become insane, man. Like got those cartoons where the characters, they're all hungry, then they look at their friends, all right, or another character as a chicken drumstick or something, man. All right, stuff like that, man. You go crazy. All right, the Bible says it itself. It's better to die by the sword than to freaking pine away than to starve to death. All right, but the elect will eat. Okay, Job chapter 5 verse 20, and I gotta go a little fast. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Okay, actually verse 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Okay, so thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt, okay, all right, so, but yeah, the point is, okay, verse 21 and verse 20 and 22, all right, the elect will eat, okay, now, the elect will be fine. I don't want to be of that number, okay, but we will also be tested. Okay, Isaiah chapter 63 verse 13. Oops, this is the wrong thing. My servants shall eat. Okay, Salakia. That's 65 verse 13. Okay, therefore thus saith the Lord power, behold my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Okay, and not to mention that, also miracles. All right, miracles can happen. The Lord can have a piece of food, bread, drop out of the sky. All right, from out of nowhere, if He so wanted to. Okay, it doesn't have to be stuff like that you think could just be possible, but you see, I find a house, that has a lot of food in it. That's gonna be part of it, but also, it's just straight up supernatural stuff. All right. The Lord's gonna protect His elect, so just keep your trust in Him. Did ever any trust in Him and was confounded? All right, but that's just a quick update. Overall, you got this cruel Lord being crazy and just doing whatever the hell he wants. All right, but just stay prayed up and focused. All right, but with that, Lord willing, that was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakak Kodash. Shalom wa abad babal. Shalom.